Hello, this is Dr. Chris Habib, and I have the pleasure of sitting here with Dr. Kate Whimster, naturopathic doctor. Now, Dr. Whimster, you've written and researched about these keystone habits for health. For those who may be unfamiliar with this topic, what exactly is a keystone habit?
So keystone habits are from the book The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And they're really habits that start to shift, dislodge, and remake other patterns or behavior changes that help to create structures that allow other habits to flourish. So in a nutshell, keystone habits for health are small changes people can make that pay off big time. Low investment of time and effort for big results in the long term.
That makes a lot of sense for me. So then what are some of these keystone habits that you could focus on?
So I focus on 5 keystone habits. The first is keeping a daily food log, also eating more fruits and vegetables, a daily meditation practice, getting enough sleep, and regular exercise.
Okay, very good. I'm going to ask you a little bit more specifically about each of these. So how does keeping a daily food log help?
Well, most patients that come in to see me want to lose weight, but few of them are actually tracking what they're eating now. So imagine that you're lost in the wilderness and you find a map, but if you don't know where you are now, how can you hope to get where you want to go? So the same is true of health. If you don't know what you're doing now, then you're literally lost when it comes to diet. Keeping a daily food log is a great keystone habit because it overflows into a lot of immediate behavioral change that's often unconscious, such as making healthier food choices, smaller portion sizes, and exercising more. And these small changes make a big impact. They found in the largest and longest study on weight loss that keeping a daily food log, those who did that lost twice as much weight as those who didn't. And they also have found in research that keeping an electronic food log is more effective than pen and paper, and it's also more accurate.
So are these people lying when they fill out their food logs, or is it just that they're paying more attention?
You know, they may be lying, that's totally possible, but I find that even with patients, sometimes I just say to them, all we want is to get an observation. It doesn't matter what it is that you're eating, but automatically they start to change unconsciously when they start to write it down.
I see. Okay, so what about the second one you mentioned, eating more fruits and vegetables?
So will you remember how your parents were always telling you to eat more vegetables? So it turns out that they were right. Cardiovascular disease and cancer are the 2 top causes of death, and both of these are highly preventable through modifiable risk factors, diet being one, and more specifically fruit and vegetable intake. So the keystone habit of eating about 5 to 6 servings of fruits and vegetables per day has a significant impact on your risk of cardiovascular disease, cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's, and many other chronic diseases. In fact, it's estimated that the worldwide mortality that could be attributed to deficient intake of fruits and vegetables is about 2.6 million deaths worldwide per year.
Wow.
So 1 serving is equal to about half a cup or a medium piece of fruit. And one easy way to improve your fruit and vegetable intake is to have 1 serving of fruit and 1 serving of vegetables at every meal, including breakfast. And if you eat 3 meals a day, this means you're going to get to 6 servings very easily.
That sounds fairly reasonable. So what about the next thing? You said we should meditate daily.
Right, so there's an old Zen adage that says that you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes every day, and if you are too busy, then you should sit in meditation for an hour every day. So meditation is an amazing keystone habit because it does overflow into many other areas of life, and it's a very small investment of time and effort. Daily meditation decreases stress, anxiety, and depression, which are very common health concerns that get in the way of living a healthy and fulfilling life. Meditation also improves sleep, learning, and memory, and it literally helps to slow down aging of the brain and the body. So most people, including myself, can find meditation difficult because it forces us to be still with our thoughts. Some people call this the monkey mind because it can be really overwhelming to deal with all the thoughts and emotions going on in your head. But this is exactly why meditation is so important, because it teaches you to retrain your brain and to gain control. A good place to start is with just 5 minutes of meditation every day. If that seems like too much for you, then even 1 minute daily can work. The key here is daily, to make a daily habit to decrease stress in the long term.
Awesome. So what about getting more sleep?
So sleep is a very powerful keystone habit. It does overflow into so many other areas of life. When people are sleep deficient, they tend to eat more and exercise less. And they also tend to unconsciously have more cravings for high salt, sugar, and fatty foods. Sleep deficiency is also associated with metabolic syndrome, which is also known as insulin resistance. A lot of people may have heard of this. Metabolic syndrome is actually a collection of risk factors for heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. And specifically, less than 6 to 7 hours of sleep per night is associated with increased abdominal obesity or belly fat, blood pressure, and blood sugar.
Wow.
Yeah, so based on many studies that have been conducted, the optimal amount of sleep on average is about 7 to 8 hours per night. And I find the easiest way to increase your sleep is just to try adding about 30 minutes extra sleep per night, and that can make a huge difference.
I can think of a lot of people that would buy into the idea of losing weight just by sleeping more.
Yeah.
So finally, why is exercise so important?
So exercise is the most important keystone habit of them all because it has the most impact on all kinds of health measures. Exercise significantly reduces obesity, anxiety, depression, fatigue, cardiovascular disease, cancer, osteoporosis, arthritis, you name it. And it can also be used for a lot of specific health concerns. And it is really one of the ultimate one of those ultimate behaviors that impacts that sort of ubiquitous risk of death that they study a lot. Exercise is one of those behaviors that overflows into so many other areas. When people exercise regularly, they do automatically eat better, they tend to get more sleep, they tend to get better sleep. And that's what Keystone Habits are all about, is one thing that sort of unlocks all those other benefits. Aiming for about 150 minutes of aerobic exercise per week, so that's something that's like moderate to high intensity for you, averages to about 30 minutes 5 days a week. And most research on exercise is done on simply walking, so that's an amazing place to start. But higher intensity and longer durations of exercise also give more benefit.
Wow. Sounds like these Keystone Habits can be extremely powerful. I can't think of anyone that wouldn't want to decrease their risk of death.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Whimster, you are really the expert in natural medicine. How do you help your patients embrace these Keystone Habits? Or what would someone expect if they were to come see you for a visit?
So, we all know that making changes to improve our health is a very appealing concept, but it can be overwhelming and intimidating for a lot of people because they feel like they have to remake their whole life, or they may feel like it's too difficult. So the important thing about Keystone Habits is to focus on a few things that are really important, that unlock all the other stuff automatically, and this makes it easier, faster, and you get better results in the long term. So embracing Keystone's habits for health is really all about planting a garden. You plant the seeds and they give you a harvest year after year. So low effort, high return. And so for me, I help my patients identify those things that are really either barriers to healing or things that are really key for their situation, and focus on those things as an individual.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. Dr. Whimster, thank you so much. I'm going to read off your contact info here for our viewers. So Dr. Whimster practices at Mahia Forest Hill in Midtown Toronto. The website is mahiaforesthill.com and the phone number is 416-792-4400. Dr. Whimster also has a personal website, wavelengthwellness.com, where she publishes regular articles on a wide range of health topics and also allows you to subscribe to receive exclusive guides and articles delivered right to your inbox. Dr. Whimster, thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you.